Liverpool's Champions League dream died in Kiev. The Reds' 3-1 defeat to Real Madrid ensured there would be no glorious end to their incredible run to the 2018 final. The national media, unsurprisingly, had plenty to say. In the Telegraph, Chris Bascombe talks of a pivotal half-time, and how Loris Karius rendered it redundant. He writes, "The sides went in goalless at half-time, but in many ways it felt Jurgen Klopp's 15 minutes in their company needed to be as pivotal as Rafa Benitez's in Istanbul. He had to reorganize and restore the belief and luster of those early moments when it was Real Madrid who looked edgier. The goalkeeper made all that redundant." Sander Westerveld and Jersey Dudek's Liverpool careers effectively ended in a European final win. It is difficult to see how the young German survives this. It was too much. The cost too great. There was already more at stake for Liverpool than that gorgeous trophy, still affectionately referred to by the Anfield immortals as Big Ears. Reaching a Champions League final ensures a place in history, but those who decked half the Olympic Stadium in red an hour before kickoff craved a new chapter rather than a footnote. Fortunately, for all the relaxation therapy, once their Egyptian superstar departed, the golf in class was too much. Liverpool have suffered too much recently. So has Klopp. It has often been said the experiences of narrow failure have made them stronger, but when counting up the losses there is no profit. There is never consolation in a final defeat. None. Certainly not here. Reasons for optimism from Jonathan Northcroft in the Sunday Times, believing the Reds to be in a better position now than 2007. He writes, Rafael Benitez tried to use Liverpool's last Champions League final, in 2007, as a springboard, agitating for transfers and restructuring. He used the credit he had gained to seize control of the academy and force a spree of buying, in which Fernando Torres and Javier Mascherano arrived. For a while Liverpool did push on, but they quickly regressed and Benitez was gone. Now it is different. Liverpool have far better infrastructure than in 2007, more quality and depth in the squad and, in Fenway Sports Group, sound owners. So many underlying markers are good. The squad is young. Reaching Kiev was no fluke. Liverpool were not behind in any knockout tie. Their Premier League campaign started slowly, but from late October Liverpool began to click, second only to Manchester City in points gathered in the last 29 games. After Virgil van Dijk's arrival, the dial moved with regards to defending. The goals against total was Liverpool's best since Benitez. Recruitment seems in good shape. Van Dijk, Mo Salah, Andy Robertson, Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain, Naby Keita, an outstanding midfield talent, is secured for next season, and Liverpool are advancing on another. Lions Nabil Fekir. Klopp's careful praise of sporting director Michael Edwards and his team speaks of harmony over transfers that never existed for Benitez or Brendan Rodgers. Stuff gets done these days. New training ground, selling Philippe Coutinho, breaking a world record for Van Dijk. Big decisions, minimum fuss. Liverpool goalkeeper Loris Karius with Peter Krawietz after the final whistle. Barney Ronay, in The Guardian, focuses on the sad end to Mohamed Salah's season. He writes, it seemed even crueler still that the final image of Mo Salah's joyful season should be the sight of the Premier League Player of the Year leaving the pitch in tears with half an hour gone. But then there are reasons why Real Madrid win these games, why the same faces keep on being framed by the cameras year after year lifting that intoxicatingly shiny trophy. Or in other words, Mo meets Sergio. Madrid were the story here, 3 times champions, with victory capped by an overhead kick from Gareth Bale of such devastating grace that even the Liverpool legend offered him a ripple of bruised applause as Madrid lined up for the restart. Yet there will be a sense through red-tinted spectacles of having been cheated by fate, by misfortune and by Sergio Ramos. Make no mistake, Liverpool had their moments to take this game by the scruff, most obviously in the opening quarter when they went for the full blitz attack, drawing stumbles and stutters and hoof clearances as those princely white shirts looked a little giddy. Liverpool can do this to you, swarming in with the body shots, taking your breath, making the pitch spin. Something had to give. It did. The wrong thing. It was an epic night, filled with so many different storylines, and unfortunately for Liverpool's accident-prone goalkeeper, Loris Karius, he will have to live with the fact that his part will be remembered for just as long, or possibly even longer, than Gareth Bale's spectacular bicycle kick or the tears from Mohamed Salah. Also in The Guardian, Daniel Taylor reflects on Salah's departure. He writes, "For Bale, it was a personal triumph with 2 of Real Madrid's goals and a Man of the Match award from a final he did not enter until the 61st minute. His flying, acrobatic volley, only 2 minutes after coming on, will go straight into the list of the greatest all-time goals in a Champions League final and put Madrid, with their 13th triumph, on their way to emulating the great Ajax and Bayern Munich teams of the 1970s with a 3rd successive win." That, however, tells only part of the story from a night when Karius was a danger to his own team, responsible for Madrid's 2 other goals and last seen wandering aimlessly around the pitch, alone, distraught and clearly traumatized, to ask forgiveness, hands clasped, from the thousands of Liverpool supporters. Karius looked broken. He chose a bad night to be so vulnerable, and Liverpool will always wonder what might have happened if the German had not turned the night into his own personal ordeal. Or, indeed, if they had not lost Salah, half an hour in, with the shoulder injury that turned the match in Madrid's favor. His absence was a grievous setback for Liverpool, who had looked the more dangerous team until that point, and it would not be sour grapes for the losers to think that was the moment the game started to swing away from them. They had started so thrillingly, but all their early momentum was lost once Salah went off. It never properly came back, and the players in red took a long time, too long, probably, to adjust to being without the man who had scored 44 times over a record-breaking season. Without Salah, they never looked so threatening again. Loris Karius of Liverpool walks past the trophy looking dejected after the Champions League final, and finally, the Mail's Rob Draper brings it all back to Karius. He writes, "On another night we would have been lauding the exceptional performance of Britain's best player, Welshman Gareth Bale. Excluded from the starting lineup, he came on to win the game with a goal so good it is unlikely to be matched for decades. Maybe it even surpassed that of the manager who had left him out, who scored a similarly magnificent goal in this final in 2002. He then added a second, which finished Liverpool. And perhaps Loris Karius. At times, the keeper was superb. Yet this will always be the final he lost. The first goal he conceded was comically awful, bowling the ball out directly into Benzema's outstretched leg. The second was as bad, allowing Bale's speculative shot from 30 yards, aimed straight at him, to slide through his hands and into the net. You felt enormous sympathy for him. It was the kind of night from which only the strongest recover. Zidane left out Bale, opting for the more subtle creativity of Isco, a bitter blow for the Welshman after his recent run of fine form. However, initially it made little difference to the balance of the game, for Real Madrid were subject to as sustained an assault of harrying and hustling from an eager Liverpool side as you are likely to see.